Alrighty, let's get this started. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Goof Troop, an amazing little adventure game for the Super Nintendo, because I'm using Super Nintendo controllers, and unlike Secret of Mana, this game does not have the option for us to put the controllers in an upside down mode, which means I will have to play with the second controller literally upside down, with the D-pad as well. Before I forget it, I actually need to switch out the controller port for this thing, because I'm using the second controller here, not the third one. The third one doesn't work. Either way, we are starting. Alrighty, excuse me, I need to answer something real quick. So, alrighty, let's get this started in 3, 2, 1, let's go. Train wreck! So, Goofy and Max. Most people know them. If you don't, the big guy is Goofy, the small one is Max. Max is faster in running, Goofy is stronger in hitting. That is the short version. Your only way of defeating enemies are pushing them into water or something like that by using the hookshot weapon, or by shooting them with blocks, by pushing the blocks or kicking the blocks around, or shooting them with barrels or other planned objects. Like here, I just pick up barrels, kill those guys with a single hit. The blue guys, they are some of the enemies that die in one hit. Those guys over here actually die in 2 hits to Max, but in 1 hit to Goofy, so that's why Goofy is stronger in dealing with enemies for the most part. So here we have puzzles. You need to push the blocks into the star-shaped locations, and that opens up the door. And in various other areas you need to defeat enough enemies to progress. We need the keys to go through areas. Pretty standard stuff. So here, we essentially just went over here to grab the key. Now we need to defeat those enemies in order for us to go out the door here, and that's what it's all about. Afterwards, here I'm going to grab the pot with Goofy in order for Max to be able to pass through without him having to slow down. Max is actually slower than Goofy in both walking with and without a pot if he has a pot over his head or any other object that is heavy for that matter. Here I grab something with Goofy, lure him with Max, and also kill off Goofy deliberately once there already. Also in those puzzle rooms, I try to optimize it, just kind of try to find in between it being optimal, kind of like co-op strategy would do, and something in between that I can reasonably execute as a single player, since a lot of the strategies are pretty difficult to do if I'm only playing well with a single character. So here we get to the first boss. The first boss is pretty straightforward. You kill them, well, it's basically whack-a-mole. With a twist that, well, you try to actually get some items here. Ah, wow, he disappeared really quickly there. Too quick. You can't pass items between characters. Ah, missed that one. Which makes it a bit tricky, especially for a 2-controller setup. There we go, wow. That boss showed me quite a bit, but it's not too bad. So the idea for the next screen here is for me to have Goofy at 0 health, or 0 lives. What that does is, eventually Goofy will just kind of game over. But don't worry, as soon as Goofy game overs, I can press the start button as soon as Max switches to the next screen, and what that does for me is that Max can pick up 2 items. Normally, Max can only pick up 1 item, because Goofy is there as well, but if I have Goofy, well, die essentially, I will be able to have 2 items on Max, and that's the idea. I kill off Goofy here, Max gets both the plank and the hookshot. I need the hookshot to build the bridge here, and I need the plank to build the bridge on the left side here. And then I pick up the hookshot here, really quick for safety, just grab a jewel, or continue if I happen to die with both characters accidentally. Revive Goofy as soon as I pick up the item over there, and then we run on. In the top right you can see Max lives and also health. If he has any hearts, that means Max will not die to an individual hit. He will just be able to damage boost through enemies. And that's actually pretty important. In various areas I want to have... Wow, thank you. I want to have Max with hearts, so he can just straight up run through enemies without actually straight up dying. So, what I do here, once again, revive Goofy to run outside quicker. It's pretty convenient. Oh wow, that guy needed to mess up the puzzle. So if those guys kick around blocks, that can just straight up mess up the puzzles enough that it is pretty bad for you. And that is just, well, putting it mildly, really. So I decided to take a death there with Max to warp him back to the entrance, but that room could have gone much better. Oh well, that's alright. And unfortunately Goofy happened to die there. What I tried to do is get both Goofy and Max to the right side past those spike rollers in order for me to have an easier shot at, or quicker exit to the area. Most of the time I just use Goofy to enter or leave areas quickly while Max is doing stuff. Here I kill off Goofy, so Max has the second hood shock. He picks up the key, revive Goofy, and bye-bye Goofy because Max needs the hookshot. Thank you very much, Goofy. Don't forget to hit the switch over there to open the door. Grab the +1 life here for safety, and I miscalculated. This guy here, if you are... Let me reset the screen. If you are lucky, he goes to the top of the wall here, and you can just sneak past him without him actually hitting you. But he needs to at the top pixel of the area. Alrighty. We go to this boss here, and the idea is that I throw away the barrels pretty quickly, and then I position Max over here. Max being positioned exactly there allows me to have Goofy repeatedly just catch the barrels and throw them at the big bad boss there. And because Goofy deals more damage, he is my main damage dealer for this area. Oh, take care, Heinemüller, thank you very much, and have a nice day. Also sorry, I cannot really properly reach out during this game, it's really difficult. So I kill off Goofy here, because once again, we just prepare him. You can activate those switches by putting or throwing plant pots onto them, which is actually pretty convenient, since we don't need to avoid the spikes, we can just position ourselves, throw plant pots. This is actually one of 2 areas where you can do that. Most of the switches don't allow you to do that, which is kind of weird. So here we just run through. Once again, Goofy needs to die because Max needs to pick up a second item, and he is faster to pick up the second item. In this case, it's not to actually leave the area quicker though. Revive Goofy because he deals with this cannon faster, and also in the next room I'm using Goofy briefly to kill an enemy, while Max runs around, and also hopefully doesn't die. So Goofy managed to kill off the green guy, and then once again plunges into the abyss. All for the sake of saving a little bit of time. But hey, Goofy's used to it apparently. He survives it every time and returns stronger than ever before. Or at least, so it seems. So pick out the key here in order for us to open the locked door. Revive Goofy so we can solve the puzzle in the next room a little bit quicker. Open! O-P-E-N. Pick up the key with Goofy, suicide once with him, suicide once with Goofy at the beginning, that actually sets me up perfectly to step on those switches without any real delay. Use the hook shot to deal with those guys. And here, I actually don't revive Goofy yet. This is a divergence from the co-op strategy. I actually take a death here with Max, which allows me to solve this area a little bit easier. It is actually a bit more efficient if I were to do this mostly with Goofy. But it's really difficult for me to do that with just controlling both characters at the same time, so I just kind of choose a middle road where I use the advantage of having a second character by being able to leave the screen a bit quicker than with a single character, but also use portion of the solo character or single controller strategies. Wow, I messed that up. I really messed it up. It's actually really rare that Goofy is late on killing the cannon there. Most of the time Max is a bit late. So, next area here. We have once again a boss that we want to defeat with just Goofy or Max. I position Max so the red guy will always shoot in easy position for me to pick up the items, but I need to actually dodge the blue projectiles just a little bit. Otherwise this is actually pretty difficult to deal with. I kind of hope that he doesn't hit Max, but sometimes he does anyways. I pass over the projectiles to Goofy with Max while dodging everything or trying anyways. And sometimes that doesn't work out quite as well. Okay, that guy is down. Pick up the projectile here. Unfortunately, he decided to target Max. Ah, didn't manage to pick up the projectile. That's okay. I bounced back the head because I didn't count the hits. Okay, that was a good decision. He can only throw his head twice. Wow. I messed that up. Goofy is not supposed to die here. But it works out still. Need to switch controllers again. So, reviving Goofy and then we run on. In this area I want to have Max have at least one heart so he can damage boost through enemies. There we go, that's the heart. That's all we need. Goofy picks up the barrel, kills one guy for show, because why not? I don't need to kill him. Just do because I can. And this is why I want to damage boost through the frogs. Trying to kill the frogs or hoping they can go out of my way is kind of silly to hope for, but well, it is way easier doing it like this. In this area we just move properly with two characters at the same time in order to go outside a bit quicker than usual. Goofy kills the red guy in one hit, and then Goofy tries to pick up a barrel, shooting the other red guy there. Here once again, pick up a barrel, and this is why I pick up or I catch a barrel with Goofy, pass it over to Max in case that's necessary for him to defeat the frog over there. So let's see. Position Goofy there. This is actually a new strategy compared to what I did before. Literally just came up with that today. And now I'm doing this here. It's a bit difficult to do this maneuvering while I'm doing everything else, since I'm not as practiced in it, but it works out still. This from here, I just decide to prioritize killing that enemy so he's not in the way. Even though that's slightly slower compared to what you could optimally do, it is still what I end up doing. Hit all of those things here, pick up the barrel with Max, hoping for a random drop from that enemy. Unfortunately didn't get it, there we go. I wanted to get a heart with Max that enables me to just damage boost through enemies if necessary. Here I go down with Goofy, pick up that button, then that button and we go. Optimally, like just now, you don't get hit with either of the characters, but because of the random movement of the enemies, that is just, well, not all that given. Come on. And you just need to memorize whatever you need to do, and doing this with 2 controllers is actually a bit more difficult than usual. So this is also a bit tricky here, because now, alright, that worked out pretty well. The 2 guys on the left have mostly random movements, so you can always kill the 2 guys on the right. But trying to deal with the guys on the left can be a bit of a pain, but in this case it worked out pretty well. So, this puzzle here is solved as well. Oopsie, sorry Goofy. So that can happen too, when I just kind of make a silly mistake like that. It's actually kind of a big deal to be able to throw and catch barrels at the same time as well, while moving too. And then trying to stay in range with both characters, stuff like that. So this is one of the boss fights where I do save like 40 seconds over a single controller run. That is, if I don't mess up. Messing up is pretty easy in this boss fight. You can only hit the heads of those guys, also you can only hit them once per cycle. So if I miss them, well, we lose an entire cycle, which is like 9 or 10 seconds. I don't know how long exactly. The most difficult spawn position of, for those worms to hit is the bottom right when he's moving up. This one is fine. That is easy to hit. So, and after we hit this green guy here, both of the worms will spawn, and this is why we save a lot of time compared to a single controller, as long as I manage to hit both of them in the same cycle. Which is pretty tricky, but it should work out as long as I do this properly. On top of that, of course, I want to dodge everything too, until the end. Goofy actually should end this fight with preferably 0 lives, but... What system is this on? This is Super Nintendo. 0 lives, but I can happen that I mess up and take damage prematurely, which I kind of prefer to, well, survive if I make a mistake like that. There we go. That's pretty much as good as it gets. And yes, this is on SNES. I'm playing on console, not emulator. In case that's relevant for you. Emulator wouldn't make much of a difference at all in this game. Oh, whoopsie. Oh well, too bad. I did not mean to kill off Goofy there. But the idea is that Goofy goes and picks up the hookshot and then he dies. So that hookshot gets transferred over to Max. But unfortunately that didn't quite happen. It's okay. I need actually some hearts on Max here, at least one, in order to damage boost through here. And unfortunately, Goofy got sniped by the green guy. Which doesn't usually happen, but can happen once in a while. So here, I try to lure this buff dude over. Your only way to dispose of enemies in this area here is by using the bell and having them run over here, and that worked actually really well. Normally I have a lot more trouble luring them into the shots. One of those just kind of died at the beginning, which is a good chance of happening, but not guaranteed. Ah, come on. There we go. Nice. That was very good too. Those guys all take 2 hits from Max, but only 1 from Goofy. So doing this with an upside down controller is a bit tricky, but not all that difficult apparently. So, go Goofy. Also, as usual, my strategies are a mix of co-op strategy and just kind of easier execution on both characters. Since here normally we would just kind of position one of the characters to hookshot the barrels, the other character to quickly toss them at the switches. But I just do that all with one character and walk out the door with the other one. So, alrighty, here, Goofy, ring the bell. Ring the bell lures enemies towards you, and we need that bell for Max. So, sorry Goofy, we need the bell for Max, so we are a little bit faster in this room. On top of that, we want to exchange the bell item for something else. So, if we had Goofy instead of Max over here, that would make it a bit slower. So, we just do this instead. So here we go, exchange the bell for a hookshot, revive Goofy so we can walk outside a bit quicker. Unfortunately, now Goofy has the silver key, and as we all know, Goofy is no good with keys. Sorry Goofy. I'm picking up the extra heart here with Max because safety. And then we run through. Revive Goofy here just to smash a rock into his foot. Sorry Goofy. And that's pretty much that. Because now that was allowing me to get out of that room a little bit quicker than normally. This is backwards. We need to have Max over here at the bottom, because Goofy needs to pick up the hookshot and walk out the exit. Yay, that's actually pretty good. So here we grab a barrel with Goofy, pass it over to Max. And Goofy, because it's a bit more difficult to navigate with him, I just suicide with him. Max picks up both the hookshots. And that's why I picked up an extra heart there. Those cannonballs don't always hit you if you are moving properly, but they have a pretty high chance to. So, then we solve this puzzle here, with a little bit of elegance and a little bit of trickery. It's not optimal, but it's pretty awesome. Sorry, Goofy. So here, I do this room entirely with Max, because it turns out to be just way easier. I do this room with Max alone. Not quite the intended way, but it's fine. And here we go for the final Pete fight. If we get good luck on the Pete fight, or Keelhaul Pete as he is called, then that would help us tremendously. So that's 2 hits. Unfortunately I missed one bomb because I tried to be way too quick. And that's already bad luck. This is the worst thing he can do. If he calls companions, he is not going to go away from his, well, platform up there. Until the little guys are defeated. So that's 4 of them hits so far. That's pretty good actually. Unfortunately, he destroyed one of the bombs that he throws at us. That's number 5, and he calls allies again. This fight can go really fast if he decides to give you 12 bombs basically right off the bat, but ordinarily, this is kind of what happens. It just takes a while. 6, 7. I should have kept the bomb there. 8, 9. Now this is the worst Whirlwind he can do, because those first bombs are completely useless, since they explode before he is completed with his animation. That should kill him. Hey, that was actually not too bad. I've had worse. And as a matter of fact, this is actually a new PB as well. I guess I'm ready for tomorrow, maybe. Oh well. So, just for reference, I'm the only one who plays or runs this game one player 2 controller. It's more of a gimmick rather than an actual category, but it's a lot of fun. I can recommend that. The leaderboard for co-op looks funny. Yeah. This was a speedrun? Well, something like that. I mean, it was pretty quick. Five Guys 2 nights in a row. Hey Collins, enjoy. Hope that's some good food. I have to admit, I wasn't that much of a fan of the Five Guys I visited, but maybe I just didn't get the correct thing. Subway is still my favorite place in the USA so far. But I'm kind of biased because I really like sandwiches. So, well then. I think we have accomplished a few things today. What do we do now? Let's see, go through leaderboards. We have Max category, Lahulk, firm lead in the first place, Goofy, Lahulk, firm lead in the first place. And co-op, Cypher and Blackie with an insane time, although Keenan's Leaves and Chime Motion actually have a really good time as well. Like, really good. Swordsman Kirby and BB4K are catching up more and more. I'm not sure what our time is, but I think we might actually be really close to Swordsman Kirby and BB4K with Lahulk and me. My time, in theory, is... Hey, I actually think I just beat the 11th place with my run right here. I didn't realize how large those leaderboards gotten over the course of the last year. It's actually pretty awesome. Hey 2086, how are you doing? GG. Boshi, her meltdown. I could play a little bit of Boshi, I guess. Or I can continue a little bit of Breath of Fire casual. There's more than 11 people running this game. Well, there's actually 16 co-op pairs apparently for this game now. Last time I checked it was like 4. And now it's like 16. That's a lot more than before. No Secret of Mana? We already played Secret of Mana. We accidentally got a new record too. White Knight. Greetings to you. You're good, glad to hear that. I'm the 11th of the co-op runs running one player 2 controller, yep. What I really enjoy about the one player 2 controller run is the skill ceiling is just insanely high. As in, like, ridiculously high. Although the record by Cypher and Blackie from literally more than 3 years ago is insanely good, like, amazing. What? Thank you, White Knight. Does the run count if it's not original Super Nintendo? It should. If you try to run this on emulator, make sure to use the correct emulator so you actually have a proper comparison. Usually BizHawk is as accurate as it gets, but some machines have trouble running that, so SNES 9X is a viable alternative for that. But make sure you pick the correct version of that emulator too. I'm actually 2 seconds off in-game time of the 10th place. That's neat.